Welcome to the Miami Sports Vibes YouTube channel for another live stream here. Jacoby is running a little tardy. He'll be in just a couple minutes, so bear with me. Jacoby is coming from the game, actually coming from Seattle. I mean, you guys remember on last week's show, Jacoby actually traveled to Seattle, spent money in the offseason to make sure he was going to have a good experience. And man, I feel bad for him, man. I feel bad for him because he probably witnessed the most embarrassing, the most sad game as a Dolphin fan. And I cannot wait till he joins the show so he can just tell us about his experience, because that's just it's insane. I mean, you can't even fathom, man. Embarrassing, disappointing, so many people to point the finger on. So many people, man. Mike McDaniel is one. You can argue on the play calling. You can argue on the quarterback play. Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle, not getting Tyreek involved. What about the running game? I mentioned on my video post game, I said, listen, why does Jalen Wright ends up with 2 carries after starting the game so hot? I just don't understand it. And I have a couple stats here to share with you guys. I mean, look at this. The least points scored in the NFL through week 3. Coming in at 32nd, the Miami Dolphins. At 32nd, last in the league, the Miami Dolphins, with 33 points scored. This is a offense with Mike McDaniel leading the helm, right? You got Tyreek Hill. You got Jalen Waddle. You got Devon Achane. I mean, you got players out there. You got Jonnu Smith, who you paid money to get him in here. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse. Mind you, you had about nearly 2 games with Tua. So don't tell me, hey, it's because we don't have Tua. Like, still, for you to be ranked for the New England Patriots, look at their roster. They don't have nobody even close to Tyreek Hill. To be look, 33. And this is supposed to be an offensive wizard, right? This is supposed to be Mike McDaniel, who is, Mr. Offensive Guru. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. There's plenty of people to point the finger, and a salute to everybody joining me. Zell says, ouch. Absolutely, man. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Things have to be done, and things have to be done quick. Like I was saying on my post-game video, I don't think Tyler Huntley is the answer. I think what the Dolphins are expecting and what the fan base is expecting is for us to salvage this season. And I think you're putting a lot on Tyler Huntley to go in here and get the job done. I will tell you, he is better than Skylar Thompson. I mean, if you're going to give me Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley, I'm going with Tyler Huntley all damn day. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts there. But clearly, Mike McDaniel has other things to say. I mean, look at this tweet out here earlier by Schefter. He said Skylar Thompson is considered day-to-day with his chest injury, but the team is still mulling other QB options. Mike McDaniel said it is also a possibility for sure that Tyler Huntley would be Miami's starting quarterback on Monday night. Possibility. I mean, the dude is leaning more towards Skylar Thompson, to be honest. I mean, he also said this. We have an important 48 hours to see where he's at. We'll just take a day at a time. There's a lot of stuff on the table. I don't understand this, man. Like, how do you watch that game against Seattle and still just try to act like Skylar Thompson is going to be somebody who gets the job done? I mean, he's not even close to getting the job done. And this is where the front office has lied to us yet again. I mean, it starts with Chris Grier. I've had it up to here with the excuses from the fan base and from all these type of people. You cannot sell me on this anymore. I mean, this is inexcusable. Chris Grier talked about our offensive line. We're the only one worried about it. We're worried about it more than him, right? Look at that offensive line. You're going to tell me you're not worried? Okay, let's address a backup quarterback in the offseason, right? Let's address that. Doesn't happen. You roll through with Skylar Thompson as quarterback 2, knowing the concussion history that Tua has. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's just malpractice from the front office. And it just happens time and time again. I just don't understand how this team continues to just shoot themselves in the foot in so many different ways. I mean, we're not even prepared to be successful. How do you not go out there and spend money on a backup if you're going to roll with Tua as quarterback 1? It's just inexcusable. And Jacoby has joined the show. Let's bring him on here. Like I said, he's coming from Seattle. He was at the game, so he saw it firsthand. So let's hear what Jacoby's got to say. Jacoby, what's going on, my man?
This
How you feeling?
hungover is not overselling it. I am miserable, man. That was the worst game I've ever attended in my whole life for all three of my teams, man. A lot to say, a lot of pointing fingers. This is bad. This is really bad. But I'm glad to be here again with you. I sound like crap right now. I've been sick all day, but I'm still here, and let's get into it, man. But this is bad.
Bro, this is bad, man. I was telling the viewers, I don't know, I think you're asking for a lot from Tyler Huntley to be the guy to save the season and salvage the season. But then again, Mike McDaniel might not even give him the opportunity. I mean, we got a lot of things to unpack, man. But first of all, Seattle on its own. Your experience, your thoughts on Seattle first time in Lumen Field before we get into the game. Just a quick little brief description on that.
Yeah, I was beyond impressed. Beautiful city, beautiful weather. Driving by Lumen Field at nighttime on the freeway was a sight like nothing else, man. It was gorgeous, dude. The people were awesome. Playful banter, but I had no issues. Everyone was nice, but definitely they're not kidding when they say that is the loudest stadium in the league. They treated every down on defense like it was third down.
That's
So
crazy.
it was loud. It was humming. Great fan base, great stadium. I was beyond impressed. So, but with the city, I definitely need a revisit because the game definitely ruined my mood after the trip after the
I
game.
mean, I feel so bad for you, man. I mean, that was the most embarrassing game that I've ever watched as a Dolphin. And when you have players like on this team that we have, it's just inexcusable, man. But let's get in right into it, man. This loss, I mean, people have heard my thoughts, man. Jacoby, what are your thoughts? You saw it firsthand, man. Who gets majority? Who gets the most blame here? Start us off.
I think. Well, here's the thing. I told you guys last week. I'm not expecting a whole lot, but I was expecting a competitive game. I was like, "There's no way." 3 years into the system, that Skylar Thompson's going to come in here and take a shit. There was no way. I was not convinced that was going to happen. Um, it's extremely disappointing. They didn't even put up a fight, and it's completely inexcusable for a team that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the offense to put up 3 points. I don't
Yeah.
care who's playing quarterback. It's extremely inexcusable, and I think it falls solely on Mike McDaniel. I don't know how you looked at practice all week long, as like a mini bye week in a sense, because you had 10 days to prepare for this game. I don't know how you look at the practice and thought Skylar Thompson was the way to go. I don't buy the whole they need time to learn the playbook bullshit. Baker Mayfield joined the Rams and played 24 hours later and led them to a win. I don't give a shit about that excuse. That excuse pisses me off. But it's extremely embarrassing. And for Skylar Thompson to look that unprepared, that lost, that unsettled 3 years into the system, you can't look at anybody but Mike McDaniel. Same offensive coordinator, same system, year 3. There's no excuse.
Check out this that I shared earlier. Least points scored in the NFL through week 3. A team with Tyreek Hill, like you mentioned, and Jalen Waddle. The New England Patriots have scored more points than the Miami Dolphins, man.
It's I'm at a loss for words, man. I mean, I really don't know where you go this week. I mean, I think you have to go with at least Tim Boyle if Skylar Thompson's healthy, but I think you have to throw Huntley out there at some point. But I mean, it's really bad. I'm hovering over that panic button. I haven't hit it yet, but this has been the most demoralizing 40. Like this is already matching last year, dude. Like in
Yeah.
like the collapse, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad, and there's so many discussions going. Like, why was Tua cleared to travel across country when you shouldn't travel with a concussion? Why was he put on the IR? There's so many questions right now.
Yeah, this just, dude, you mentioned it, like you're spot on, bro. Like this emotional roller coaster, like things changed for all of us as Dolphin fans so damn quickly. 3 weeks into the season, man, where we're coming off a nice off season where we're optimistic, kind of just, but at the same time, we're also being cautious. You know what I'm saying? Like we experienced what we experienced last year. We know that, but we're excited for a damn NFL season. And then you get week one, Tyreek Hill's detained, Jalen Ramsey a hamstring injury, then the Tua gets concussed, and then Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins offense, I mean, have been a crap show the whole season, even with Tua, man. And it's just crazy that, dude, I'm pretty sure you're not the only one. I'm one as well. It's like, bro, I don't even have the answers. But one thing I can say is that the front office has failed us. They have freaking failed us, bro, as a fan base. Like, it is ridiculous that Chris Greer, rolled out this offensive line, number one. And number two, you didn't go out there and get a nice, solid backup quarterback. You mean to tell me that you saw enough from Skylar Thompson? I was saying it on my videos and throughout preseason. I saw enough of Mike White and Skyler to tell you those dudes are ass. I mean, you're gonna tell me that you're gonna just take your chances with a quarterback? Why? Because he was 1 year with no concussions. Like, come on, man. Like, you gotta go address something and get a solid quarterback too. Look at the Browns, man. They went out there and got Jameis Winston. Hell, they already have DTR as well because they know that Watson can't be trusted. You mean to tell me that the Miami Dolphins couldn't do anything close to that and just address that? It falls on Chris Greer in the front office. But then again, a lot of blame goes to Mike McDaniel because you got studs on offense to make some noise. And we said it on the show, man. We know Skylar Thompson's limitations, but scoring 3 damn points and no touchdowns, bro, like, that is just crazy, man.
I mean, the one key I emphasized all last week, you don't got to make the big play. You don't got to you don't got to go run for 30. You just have to manage the game. Manage the game, make the throws that were there. And I had a whole field view. Yeah, I got to stop going to games for sure. But I had a whole view of this. Like, dude, he was missing wide open throws. Waddle was open on a lot of throws and he just wasn't seeing it. I just don't understand it. I mean, you come up to that mic, you're like, oh man, I'm honored. I know what I'm capable of doing. Everyone's talking you up. Mike McDaniel says he's earned the chance. It's completely embarrassing, dude. And it dates back to the flaws they left in the offseason. I don't think the offensive line had a terrible game. I thought they were. I don't think it was terrible. There was some bad plays, but I don't think they were terrible. That defense, man. If I'm this defense, I'm pissed the fuck off. Yeah, they had a rough start, but in each of the games so far, they've got off to a rough start, and then they're completely lights out in the second half. You got to give a big round of applause to Anthony Weaver. I think he's doing a hell of a job so far, and I think that's being overlooked by the struggles Miami's having right now. But the Seahawks got up to 17-3 in the mid second quarter, and they didn't score again until the last possession in the fourth. You got to give it up for this defense, man. They're absolutely balling, and you forced Geno Smith to throw 2 interceptions, and you put up 3 points. One of the interceptions got you inside the 10.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Oh my,
that's just it's insanity. But other than that, man, I mean, your perspective, you were saying in that last statement, you were like, I don't have the answers. I can tell you from a perspective, man. Waiting at the airport, I saw about 10 to 15 Fins fans getting ready to go home, and I made it a point to myself, I'm going to go talk to every single one. I was going to go check in, see how they're doing. And, a lot of them were the same thing. They're like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. Like one very nice woman, she's just like, you can say it could be worse, or it can't get any worse, but it sure can. Like the pain and struggles everywhere, man. It's pretty sad to say, man. And there was a huge turnout of Fins fans, and that shocked me because, like, I know we travel well, but Lumen Field's got some crazy loyal fans, and I thought we would be scattered, but no, that entire right side of the field, it was all teal on the lower level, and that was awesome. But it's just a crazy letdown. I
love that, man. I love to hear. Well, I love to hear that we were there represented. But man, it's we're all in pain, man. And then you mentioned Tua, he's out there, traveling with the team, watching the game. Schefter actually reported this. Don't have the video here, but here's the quote. Tua was supposed to meet with neurologists last week, and the schedules got mixed up. He feels fine right now, and he'll be meeting with them this week. So, dude, where are your priorities? I heard you were in Disney World. I don't know if you heard that. He was in Disney
No,
World.
I did hear that.
and he goes and travels, but then you're out because you want to visit neurologist, but then your schedule is getting mixed up, but you're at the game not doing shit. Like, dude, this is oh my god, Jacoby.
Dude. My whole thing is this. If you're clear to travel 12 total flight hours across the country, like the one thing you can't do with a concussion is fly. If you're able to travel across the country and back and be at the game, you should not be on the fucking IR. I don't understand the move to the IR at all. At all. It makes no sense to me. And I swear to fucking God, if it's because they had to make a decision, I don't really know how the IR works, but if it's because they had to make a decision and they didn't really have the insight because the schedules got mixed up, you can't be fucking serious right now. You can't be. So there's so much going on. It's like, and it's not players. I think it's front office and coaching. They don't have these guys in fucking check. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, because I mean, there's so much talent in this roster, bro. Like there's just so much damn talent, and it's just crazy to just think that Chris Greer's still our GM. You saw Zell with a comment here saying he's been Chris Greer is an awful GM. That's been obvious for a long time. That's absolutely true. And then you got Mike McDaniel getting an extension when he hasn't proven anything. Like I said, I want to hear from you. I have this question for you, man. Is this Dolphins season able to be fixed? And if so, how? Realistically,
I mean, that's a tough one. I don't know really how to answer that. I think I gotta wait until Tua has his neurologist meetup, because if he can't return, I don't see Chris Greer going to get anybody.
Well, let me say
I don't have a reason to believe Chris Greer is going to step in mid-season to fix the season, because we knew this team still had some flaws last year, and we knew they needed to make a move at the deadline. They had to. He didn't do it. Didn't do it the year before. No, year before he got Bradley Chubb, but we still thought they could have used some O-line help. Chubb was like MIA the rest of that season. I don't have a reason to believe Chris Greer is going to try to fix this team, and like I'll be shocked if he does, but but at the same time, I don't think you can afford to blow it up mid-season. You just paid everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. So you have no choice but to try to salvage this season or just let it play out. But it's pure negligence, man. Pure negligence. And this is why I've been very cautious about how I got excited about this team this offseason. I loved the moves they made, but I was telling everybody all offseason, this O-line is going to come back to bite them, and it hasn't even been close. So, but I want to point out one observation I observed at the Seahawks game. So this team gets hurt like no tomorrow.
Yep.
We know that. I get there as soon as the gates open. I got there really early, but I get into the stadium as soon as they let people in. My brother and I are sitting down all the way down at the field, watching players come in and out of the tunnel, all that good stuff. Dolphins are out there warming up. Typical, right? Okay. So we go to our seats, and both teams come out. Miami gets straight into their, running routes, warming up, running. Seattle spent the first 15 minutes of that warm-up session stretching, getting loose, going up and down the field as a team. I don't think the strength and conditioning is there. Like to slip. Like I didn't see Miami do any of that. Seattle took their sweet ass time in warm-up, stretching out, getting loose, helping each other out. You wonder why this team gets hurt all the time. I mean, I don't see that in Miami. And stretching's the most important thing you can do before a game. I didn't see any of that. And granted, they were warming up before they let people in. Maybe I missed it. But Seattle, the entire team took up half the field, going up and down half field, stretching for 15 minutes. Never seen a team do that before, or a Dolphins team do that before. Just saying. I just thought that was an interesting observation because this team gets hurt like no tomorrow. Like we lost 6 guys in this game.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson, Kendall Fuller, David Long, Teron Armstead gets poked in the eye. I mean, some of the things you can't even make up, man. Poked in the eye. I mean,
my brother showed me. Man. He just slid me his phone. I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, I was just like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's like you can't make it up, man. You can't make it up. I'll tell you one thing though. All right, let's say Tua's on IR, he comes back. Let's say Arizona. Let's say if he comes back, Arizona looks pretty good. You don't know if that's a given. And then the next game's again.
You can say anything's a given for this team right now. No. And I don't even think Tua definitely makes this team better, but I don't think it makes it extremely better. I still think this team struggles with Tua. Let's not forget Tua threw 3 picks before he got hurt.
Yeah. So and that Jacksonville Jaguars game, it was not Tua was not the reason why we won that damn game either. It was all Javon Holland
knockout. We are a Javon Holland knockout away from being 0-3. It's insane.
Like we've trailed pretty much almost every single quarter of this NFL season with or without Tua.
No, not almost. I saw a stat last night. The Miami Dolphins are the only team to not hold a lead in a game this season.
Okay, then you know what? Even worse than I was giving them credit for.
No, they have not held a single lead all season.
But then again, Tua comes back, you play Arizona, and then you got Buffalo in Buffalo. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like
Buffalo looks like the real deal, man.
They do. Yeah, they do. I'm not even gonna get started. But listen, after what I saw from Skylar Thompson, I think Tim Boyle is the same thing as Skylar Thompson. I don't think that this Dolphins team. I don't think if you stay with these guys, I doubt you win more than one game. I think I'll give you one game until Tua comes back, and that is not a recipe to salvage the season. I think the AFC is too good. Granted, I mean, you see some teams that are losing that are supposed to be winning, like Cincinnati and things like that. But I mean, I don't think that gets you 10 wins in a season. I mean, the Dolphins have to make a move. That's the only way they will convince me. They have to make a move at quarterback. The question is who? I mean, you saw Schefter throw this out, man. I mean, a lot of people might think this is ridiculous, but he believes that the Dolphins should look to trade for one of the following QBs. And he's right for saying that they should trade, because I think that's the only way that you salvage this season. We can't blow it up. We put too much money in. He threw out names like Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson, and DTR. This is from Finn's Extra, by the way. Does a great job on Twitter. Shout out to @Finn's Extra. Give him a follow. He is on point with a bunch of stats. Just sums up everything in a nice tweet for you. He is awesome. He's a good follow. Jacob, what do you think about those 3 options?
I would love to go with Russ. I would love to see his experience in this offense. But at the same time, Mike McDaniel wouldn't even rule Skylar out as the starter if he was healthy this week. That's just insanity to me. I know you don't want to talk about the Bills yet, but I just want to give you a little comparison here. The Buffalo Bills put up 40 points. Khalil Shakir is their wide receiver 1. That's no Tyreek Hill. That's no Jalen Waddle. I don't think it's personnel, to be honest with you, man. I think it's coaching.
Yep.
It's in, McDaniel still said today, I'm still at the figure it out stage. Are you kidding me? You can't be hearing that from a year 3 coach. You can't. And giving him a contract extension is before like hearing that and knowing he got extended is infuriating. So yeah, you can bring in the help, but I think the coaching staff needs to take a huge jump in the next week or two, because I don't think personnel is the issue right now.
Yeah, I don't. I think I point the finger a lot at I think coaching is just done terrible. It's all front office and coaching, to be honest, man. But of the 3 options, bro, that Adam Schefter mentioned, as crazy as it sounds, I've said this to a lot of people. I believe I've said it on streams before. I've told a buddy of mine, I actually like Zach Wilson for the Dolphins, but now it's a disaster if you do it now. mind you.
Yeah.
I wanted this in the offseason where I feel like Mike McDaniel could probably teach him a couple of things. This is when I was very high on Mike McDaniel. Now I don't know where I stand, and I think that's rightfully so. It's pending right now. But in the offseason, I was all for trading for Zach Wilson or getting Zach Wilson, however you can get him, have him as quarterback 2. He showed a lot of good things coming out of college, bro. And maybe he was just in a crappy offense, which he was in the Jets and with Robert Saleh over there. And I feel like Mike McDaniel could probably get the most out of him, and it might lead into something that's pretty flashy for a quarterback 2 option. I mean, he's got an arm. Tyreek Hill likes him too. He can definitely chuck it to these speedsters that we have. But now, listen, Zach Wilson hasn't shown that you could just throw him into the fire and be successful. I think the guy needs time, and he needs a lot of fixing, similar to what Mike McDaniel did to Tua. But now that as an option is out the window. But if I had to choose between one of these two, DTR, I think is another type that he's on the same level as Huntley and Skyler. So miss me with that.
Agreed.
If I had to choose between these 3, I would go with Russ, because Russ is a proven quarterback that understands systems quick, and I believe he puts in the work, and he can be trusted because he's a veteran and he can understand things quicker on the fly. And we don't really have time for people to just, to mold people in. Like, we need somebody right now as a spot starter. Granted, Russell Wilson's better years are behind him. I get that his play has declined, but his IQ is there, and I trust him to kind of learn things. But will that be done? I don't trust my GM at all, man.
And I saw a lot of perspectives today. Like, if this team does need to go through another draft in whatever sense, whether it's a rebuild or this team gets a high draft pick, do we want Chris Greer even touching that draft?
Oh hell no.
Chop Robinson got his ass handed to him the other day, dude. It's just mind blowing, man. And I think Stephen Ross, his time's taken. He's got to make a decision on what direction this team needs to take, and I don't even think you can wait until the end of the season to make that decision. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think we rarely see a GM get fired mid-season, but we're gonna see. But it's pretty freaking bleak right now, I gotta say. So
if you had the choice, we're about to get into Tennessee here. If you had the choice, who are you starting on Monday night out of the 3?
I'm going Huntley, man. You're a professional. You've had a week and almost 2 weeks to learn this playbook. You got to throw in the most. He's a Pro Bowler. I don't care what the stats say. You're a labeled Pro Bowler. You got to throw him in there. And I think if you don't, you're not serious. You can't be taken seriously right now. I think you have to throw in Huntley.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. And hopefully you didn't pull a fast one. I thought you were going to say go with Tim Boyle. You scared
Absolutely
me.
Not.
All right. We're on the same page. Tyler Huntley, listen, you bought him in. Go try it out. This is the time to try. You saw enough from these 2 other bum quarterbacks. At least Huntley can run, and you can do some creative, like a lot of creative things. But then again, Mike McDaniel is a weird guy. But let's talk about Tennessee. If there's any team that is in a worse position, you can argue it's Tennessee as far as their record goes. All right. Tennessee is 0-3 right now. They look really, really bad. They have some talent, though. They do have talent out there upgrading their roster, but they have not really lived up to the standard that they were supposed to be. 0-3, man. What are your thoughts on the Tennessee Titans?
I mean, I think they got a lot of issues right now, and I think they're one of those teams that I don't think they're a win now team. They could say they are. They could say they're trying to be competitive, but I definitely think they're one of those teams that are building towards the future. But they gave the Jets a fight, and this team is going to, this team can either come in and catch you off guard like they did last year. But I mean, I don't think this team should be, I don't think Miami has the right to take any team lightly, but we're going to see. Right now, I really don't know what to really benefit Miami in any matchup, but I that comment made me laugh. Sorry.
I was trying to hold it.
It's I think they're competitive for sure. I mean, the Jets defense is no joke, and they gave them a fight. So
they definitely did. They gave him a fight, and if it wasn't for Will Levis, who likes mayonnaise in his coffee, Oh man, what a weird. That's a good one, Zell.
I did not have talking about Will Levis's mayonnaise obsession on my week 4 bingo card, man.
I was not ready for that one, and that's a good one. But Will Levis, man, I mean, this dude looks lost out there. The coach was even getting on, like, "What are you doing?" And that was such a great sign to see, man. But they added guys like L'Jarius Sneed, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard to a team that has D Hop still, even though Hopkins is kind of on the tail end. I don't understand how, that's a lot of talent out there, man, for them to be 0-3. Do you put the blame all on Will Levis?
I'd say half and half. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's a starting quarterback right now, but it could be scheme as well, but I think it's a little half and half of everything, but I think this team is, the new system, a lot of new players. I think I don't think you can rule them out completely. I think they're going to be competitive for sure, but it's definitely a very, very rough start for them as well. Two teams with really bad rough starts. So we're going
Yeah,
to see for sure.
definitely, man. This game brings me back some bad memories from last year on
Oh,
Monday night.
just wait.
This game brings me back some bad memories. So we cannot say, you know, no win is an easy win, especially with the way we are. Even if we were healthy, this wouldn't be easy, man. But the Tennessee Titans, man, how do we beat Tennessee? What are your 3 keys to victory? How do the Dolphins come out on top here?
My first scheme, man, is no, sorry. My first key is scheme.
Yeah.
Scheme this shit up. Whatever you're doing is not working. And if you have to give your new quarterback 2 weeks to learn the playbook, if it's that complex, it sure isn't producing results. So you need to scheme up something, and you need to get to it and stop abandoning the run. That is my second key. Stop abandoning the run. Jalen Wright comes in, starts. Couldn't believe he was starting.
That
And with
run.
two explosive plays off the back, Achane was feasting, and they run away from it. I think they had Skylar Thompson throw almost 20 passes in the first half. So stop fucking abandoning the run. That is my second key. And third key is going to be Anthony Weaver. Keep it up. Like, keep the foot on the gas. I wanted to say, get it a better start, but I just don't think that's what this defense is. I kind of think they play the game as it comes to them. They got to make adjustments. I think this defense is really good at making adjustments, but Anthony Weaver, keep rolling. That is my third key, man. Weaver is doing a hell of a job, and you're playing against a significantly less team. So I think the defense has to carry them if they're going to win this game.
Yeah. One thing I will, if there's anybody to give credit to, it's a small list. All right. It's Devon Achane. I think he's been doing everything that he possibly can, catching and running out of the backfield. But the lack of opportunities are there because of Mike McDaniel. Another guy is, like you mentioned, Aaron Brewer has been great. He's been our most solid offensive line, and that's a guy who we've been talking very down on in the offseason because of the way he was and his injuries and all that. But he has been solid. And then, as you mentioned, this defense has shown to make adjustments, and they really do. They put you in position to have a chance to do something and make some noise, but the offense is not holding up their end of the bargain. Buffalo, they got smacked. They did adjust, however, but it was an overall bad performance. But at the end of the day, though, Jacksonville game, Seattle game, they made adjustments. They gave you a chance, and they're getting takeaways too, but the Dolphins are not capitalizing, man. But my 3 keys to victory: I think you got to run the ball. You mentioned, Jalen Wright started the game, 2 explosive runs, could have been a horse collar in the first. Should have been. And then he ends up the game with, those were his 2 carries for 17 yards. That is ridiculous. I just don't understand how you don't ride that hot hand. He could have had a crazy game. So running the ball is definitely my first key. The Titans gave up over 124 yards per game this season already. So they're very vulnerable. You can run on them, but I don't trust McDaniel to call these runs, but you have to. We saw the quarterback play. Run the damn ball. Give Jalen Wright and Devon Achane touches, man. Give Jalen Wright especially a lot of touches. My second key is generate pressure on Will Levis. This team leads the league in giveaways with 8. They're throwing picks left and right. They're fumbling the ball left and right. All kinds of giveaways the Tennessee Titans are handing to you. So I think generating pressure, try to double up, man. Like, get multiple takeaways here. I trust this defense to do their job and definitely get takeaways. So that leads me to my third, and that is the offensive line. As you mentioned, Brewer obviously in the middle. They have to kind of play at a rate that's they got to elevate their game so that our running game can just do big things. If they do big things on the offensive line and they can also implement Huntley to be comfortable back there, because I'm assuming he's going to be the starter, I think he will do a much better job than what you saw from Skylar Thompson. And obviously, I put this stat up earlier. Their highest pass blocking efficiency in the NFL. The Dolphins are actually coming sixth. That's
No excuse.
PFF. That's. I mean, you see it there. Take it for what you will. Take it for what you will. But I think if the offensive line does a solid job, give Huntley some time, I think he can do big things with throwing the ball and making plays with his legs. Like I mentioned, this Titans team is definitely beatable. But to me, this game, it comes down to coaching, because you should win this game. It comes down to coaching for me. What is your scoring prediction?
Yeah, my prediction for this game switched up tremendously when I heard Mike McDaniel's press conference. I'm going to give you a little prediction. I predict Tim Boyle to start this game.
Oh, my God.
When I heard his press conference, he was shying away from Tyler Huntley and leaning more towards Skylar starting if healthy. That makes me to think that Huntley's not even in the picture right now. So I'm going to predict Tim Boyle to start this game, and I'm going to give the Titans the win 17-6.
If
Don't have any faith in this offense right now. So
okay, if Huntley plays,
I think this team will do a lot better. I didn't really think about that, but I don't want to give you a scoring prediction if Huntley plays, but I think they'll break 14 points for sure. I really think his ability to extend plays, be mobile, and his experience in the league compared to Boyle and Thompson is going to help this team a lot more. But I don't want to give a scoring prediction if Huntley plays, because I really didn't think that through, because I really do think Boyle's going to start this week. But I do think they could definitely win this game if Huntley plays. But I think for sure it's going to be another low scoring game for the offense. I don't think they're going to get sorted out just yet, and I'm going to give the Titans the win.
Oh man, that's going to be a tough one. I'm assuming Huntley is going to play, man. I think this is just like a little smoke screen. Why? I don't understand why. But I think the pressure is going to get to this guy. Somebody's going to do something to make Huntley start. I think dude, the fan base. I think if we roll out there with any of these two bums starting at quarterback at Hard Rock Stadium, you are hearing some loud boos, some fire Mike McDaniel, some we want Huntley, a lot of crazy toxic shit that I think that this fan base is capable of is coming their way. They have to start Huntley. Huntley's going to be the starter. I think that's how I'm going by. So my prediction is going to be based on Huntley starting. So I'm going to say that the Dolphins win this game 21-17. Maybe a defense gets a touchdown in there. So I'm not saying like this offense.
I think they have to. They have to be honest.
I'm not going to sit here and say I have trust in this offense to put up 21 on their own. I think the defense helps out a little bit as far as with the scoring. Like I mentioned, 8 giveaways already for the Titans this season. I mean, they're just racking them up. They're laying it for you there. So Dolphins 21-17. I think it's going to be stressful. I think it's going to be a close one. Obviously, like every single game as a Dolphin fan. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the Dolphins win. Zell says 12-6 win. I mean, that seems doable. That disgusting score.
Let Tim Boyle.
Of course he says that because he's a freaking Jet fan, man. He says 6-3 Fins. Oh my God. Honestly, dude, I'll take it. I'll take it. Cap for life. Shout out to Cap for life, man. My God. 15-12 Dolphins. All these weird scores.
I promise you, if you all are Fins fans what listening to this and you were at that game with me, you'd be as low as I am right now. Like, holy shit. I don't know how you guys have this much confidence.
Dude, but all the scores are weird, though. Got to be 12-6, 6-3, and 15-12. These are not even.
No, you know what was hilarious? When Skylar didn't throw the ball on the Hail Mary and got
Oh my
laid the fuck
God.
out at the end
Oh,
of the
from
half.
behind, bro. It's like,
Dude,
okay,
it wasn't
what
even cheers. It was laughter in my section from Seahawks fans. That's how embarrassing that shit was, dude.
it, it's like, what does this guy think he is? He's at the park, like
Yeah, exactly.
like playing with your friends outside or in front of the house and stuff. Like
Horrible,
what
dude.
one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi.
It was
Freaking
bad.
Skyler, bro. God damn, man. Well, I got the Dolphins winning. Jacoby has the Dolphins losing because he doesn't think that Huntley will get to start. We'll see how it goes. It's been a weird season. But let's dive into some fantasy football advice from my guy Jacoby, the reigning fantasy football champ. How was your week in fantasy,
Yeah,
Jacoby?
the reigning champ, and you guys got a hitman on my team or something, man. This shit's insane.
You're not the only one.
I mean, I jumped in here last week and told you guys, I'm like, I got all these guys hurt. And then the next day, George Kittle jumps on the injury report. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I still lost by 5. So I went into my yesterday's Monday Night Football game down 24 with Shakir playing. And Shakir puts up 19 in the first half and he didn't touch the ball again. So I did lost by 5. So that was a tough break, but I'm still 2-1. I'm hoping to get some guys back this week. But going into it, God, this has been a crazy start to the freaking fantasy season. So many freaking injuries, so many underdogs taken off. It's just been crazy. But gonna jump right in to my stardom sit-ems. I'm gonna have some curveballs for you guys. They have probably never been said before. So
We'll probably need them.
My first stardoms, I'm gonna be taking anybody playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. So CJ Stroud is my first stardom after a really rough start against Minnesota. By the way, Brian Flores doing a hell of a job over there. But CJ Stroud, I'm going to be taking him as my first stardom. Jacksonville's ranked 31st against quarterbacks, and you saw what Josh Allen did to them. You saw what how many touchdowns he had in the first half. Go with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is projected right now at 1901. I think he can get more than that for sure. So that's going to be my first stardom. And then my second one, he's right now the QB5, and he's going up against the ranked 32nd defense in fantasy, and that's Kyler Murray. I love his start, his ability, his projections for Washington. He's projected a little lower than CJ Stroud, but I think he gets a couple of rushing touchdowns this week. I really do. So those are my first 2 stardoms. I think they're pretty simple, but these 2 defenses are just quarterbacks are having a field day with them. So I'm going to take those 2.
Okay.
And then moving on to my sit-ems. I think you need to get rid of this guy now. Anthony Richardson. He has been a painful watch the last 2 weeks. When he started off with 26 points in week 1, and since then it's been 9.86 and 5.08. He just looked atrocious against the Bears last week, and now he's going up against Pittsburgh, who are the number 1 ranked defense against quarterbacks. I think you need to get rid of Richardson while you can, because I don't like anyone on that Colts offense. As a Michael Pittman owner, I don't like anyone right now on that team except for Jonathan Taylor. So I'm just sitting him for sure. The second one's going to be Jordan Love. I think he comes back this week. I don't like the matchup too much. He's going up against Minnesota, and Minnesota's just been hammering quarterbacks fantasy-wise. So I think Love comes back, has a solid game, but I don't think a starting worthy stats for this week. So those are my 2 sit-ems, and I think they're pretty solid. So
no, I agree with you. Running backs.
And then to running backs, it's been pretty good for the running backs lately. Shout out to our guy Achan. He's sitting at the running back 3 right now. But self-explanatory pick. Go with Saquon. Keep him in there. He just jumped up to the RB1, and now he's going against Tampa Bay. I think that's start of the week right there. Tampa Bay got obliterated by Cleveland, and I think Saquon does the same thing. No, not Cleveland. Denver. Sorry, they got destroyed by Denver. And I love that matchup very much. And then my second stardom is Derrick Henry. He's starting to find his groove in that Baltimore offense. Baltimore finally got on track against Dallas. Now they're going up against Buffalo. This should be a pretty good game. I'm really excited for this game. Buffalo's averaging about 27 points to running backs right now. So keep going with Derrick Henry. I've been seeing a lot of leagues. A lot of guys have been pulling him off the bench a couple of weeks so far. So get him in there for sure. And to our RB sit-ems, the poor guy, gonna give him another sit-em, and I called it. I told you guys, stay away from this guy at all costs last week. And my opponent, even though he beat me, decided he's like, no, I'm not going to take his advice. Ramondre Stevenson gave you a solid 0.9 points last week in fantasy, and I'm going to give him the sit again. He's going up against San Francisco, which I think is going to be even worse for him. So let's stay away from him. That Patriots team's a mess right now. Maybe not until they get to us. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, I take that back. Ramondre Stevenson had 0.3 points. So yeah, I told you guys, those of you who started him didn't want to listen. That's on you. So and then second of all, he's coming back from injury, and they're going to be playing a tough Lions team. I would not bring back Kemba Walker just yet. Where's the love for Breece Hall?
Wait, you said Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker. Yeah. Or not. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Dude, Kenneth Walker. God.
Okay.
Dude, I've been sick all day. I'm not thinking sick. My bad.
You ready for NBA?
Kenneth Walker. God. Yeah.
Gotcha.
See, I'm in NBA mode right now. Okay. I'm moving on from football. That's my bad. Kenneth Walker. My bad. Kenneth Walker. I wouldn't start him just yet. He's coming back from injury, and they're going up against a very tough Lions team who are ranked first against running backs. I think Charbonnet gets more touches than him if he does come back from injury. So I sit him I wait another week or two. And now moving on to the wide receivers. You guys are going to hear something I never said before, but I'm going to go to my stardoms first. My first one, I've been high on this guy for 2 years, and I think he has a really good game this week. That's going to be Nico Collins. I think CJ Stroud gets off to a much better start this week. And like I said, they're playing Jacksonville. He's right now the wide receiver 6. Love Nico this week. Even with Stephon Diggs, he's still getting a majority target share from CJ. He had 10 targets in the last 2 games. Give me Nico for the first start. And then second one, it's going to be Marvin Harrison. He had himself pretty solid start to the season after week 1. Back-to-back over 15-point performances, 17.4 against the Lions. Now going up against the Commanders. I think he has a big game. And like I said, I think Kyler has a big game too. So if you have both those players, I would start them both. I think you're going to do pretty well. Now to the sit-ems. Going to go the first time ever I'm doing this. If you have Tyreek Hill, sit him this week. I do not trust any Dolphin right now. I have Jalen Waddle in my other league, and he's just killing me. So I'm going to sit Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, man, after a huge week 1, he had 3 receptions on 5 targets for 40 yards. That's your best player. That's who you're paying, man. And it doesn't get any better. I mean, yeah, you're playing the Titans, but they're ranked 3rd against wide receivers. I'm going to sit Tyreek Hill this week. It sucks, but I'm doing it. And on to the second one, I'm going to sit Garrett Wilson. They're going up against the Broncos. Pat Surtain has been absolutely locked down on every single wide receiver 1, and has not even been close. So I think Garrett Wilson needs to be sat in your fantasy lineup. Shout out to the Broncos defense, man.
Definitely shout out to the Broncos defense. I like those. Those are spicy takes, and I'm with you, though. Yeah. I'm with you. Damn, 2 studs saying you might have to stay away. And honestly, the way this fantasy football season's been going, it's been more of those underdogs that kind of been winning your matchups, because I'm 0-3 right now.
Going on to tight ends. It's been a weird year for tight ends. This guy, even after a pretty under the rug performance against Carolina, he still ranks the tight end 2 right now. That's Brock Bowers against for the Raiders. They're going up against Cleveland, who are in the middle of the pack, ranked 12th against tight end. So I'm going to roll with him. I've been pretty impressed with his play. And my second one, I'm going to go with Kincaid again. I gave him the start last week. I'm going to go with it again at 13 points against Jacksonville. And they're going up against a worse defense against tight ends in Baltimore. And I think they're going to really look to him that game as well. So I'm going to go with Kincaid again. I really love what Buffalo's doing. And then my 2 sit-ems, they're pretty much the same guys that have been in and out of this last 2 weeks. If you have Travis, I don't know how Travis Kelce is still ranked the highest scoring tight end, projected the highest scoring tight end of the week. He has not broken 8 points this year. I'm sitting him again. I think that Chiefs offense is going to go strictly through Rice. So I'm gonna sit Travis Kelce again and Evan Ingram. I'm going to stay away from the former tight end 2. He's projected for 8 points this week against a very tough Texans defense. So those are my stardom sit-ems. If they help you win, awesome. So that's what I
Good,
got.
good stuff as always from Jacoby. Guys, if you guys have any questions, fantasy related questions, please put them in the chat and we will answer them. Also, want to take a minute to let you guys know, if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button to support the show. Catch us every week on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here with us. Also, I see a question here for you. Nando says, "Where's the love for Brees Hall?"
I mean,
Any
Brees Hall. I
fantasy
mean,
wise?
I don't think you can afford. I mean, Brees Hall went like picks 1 through 3 in a lot of my leagues, so I don't really think you can afford to sit him. If you have some really good backups and you think you need to sit him, sure. But Brees Hall's a focal point in that offense. So if I'm ever going to say sit Brees Hall, they must be going up against a juggernaut defense. But I'm just I don't think he needs to be mentioned. I think you need to start him every week.
You think that production stays that way throughout the season for Brees?
I mean, I think the Jets are just going to keep going up from here. They have a very easy schedule. I know they kind of shied away from him week 1, but then he did get some garbage time points, but he's broken 15 points every week so far. And I think Rodgers is going to keep going to him, especially. So, I mean, like I said, if you need to sit Brees Hall, you must have a very, very talented bench. So that's just my opinion.
Maybe like a 6-man league or something.
Yeah.
Got a question here from Jason. He says, "Will you trade McBride and Sutton for Stevenson and Pittman? His backup tight end was Ferguson."
I've given Pittman 3 chances this year so far, and he's struck out on all of them. I'm officially sitting him this week if my players come back. I will not. I think Sutton's hit or miss right now, but no, those two, Stevenson just put up 0 points. No.
Yeah.
I would keep those two.
Thanks for chiming in, Jason. We also mentioned last week, we said, I said that Stevenson kind of started off a little bit good, but I think he's going to start, and the whole New England Patriots team is going to start on a decline from here on out the rest of the way, man. It was only a matter of time before they were, smacked into reality, which they did last Thursday. And McBride's been solid, man, on the tight end market. That's been kind of shaky. McBride has been doing his thing, man. I have McBride in both of my leagues. I would hold on to him.
Hey, pull up that last comment about the schedule.
No, easy schedule.
I'm not giving the Jets they got an easy schedule. That's why they're good. I think the Jets are really talented. Even though what the Bills did last night, I still fear the Jets more than the Bills. So I'm not. I meant by like easy schedule. I mean like they got Denver, they got New England again. They're gonna have Indianapolis. And look at their playoff schedule. They got the freaking Jaguars of like playoff schedule for fantasy. They got the Jaguars, Rams, and Miami. So like we're talking fantasy here. So yeah, I think he's got an easy schedule. I think that's fair enough to say.
No, I think that's definitely fair enough to say. Especially playoff time with Brees Hall. That playoff schedule is big. Those last three matchups, those are cake right there. He says, yo, Jacoby, what happened with JSN this week? I started him and got nothing. We both actually said start JSN on this.
Yeah, I struck out on a couple last week, but man, fantasy's just been so unpredictable. I mean, I hit the nail on a lot of takes last year, and I have struck out on a few this year so far. It's just been a crazy season, man. Nobody's been seeing this coming, but I did not expect our defense to adjust really well to what Seattle was doing. But so I mean, I'll take that over my take being right. But I'm sorry, I'm sorry about it.
No, man, fantasy has been so unpredictable. It's been bad for me. Like I said, I'm 0-3 right now. I drafted CJ Stroud. He's the 15th best quarterback now. Like that's not what I drafted him to be. Anthony Richardson, it was a guy that I was depending on. Like I thought about taking. He looks bad. Mm-hmm. Jerome Ford, it's like, all right, now they like Foreman and Ford. I don't understand that at all. Jalen Waddle, of course, Tua gets concussed, so now he sucks as far as fantasy wise. And, Derrick Henry is inconsistent. Last week he was good. The week before that, it's just like, I honestly don't know what I'm getting week to week. The only guys that I feel comfortable on my team, I'm not even comfortable with Jamar Chase because I think the Bengals are weird. And I think things are just going to be like that throughout the season. The only guy I really love on my team is Nico Collins. Like that's the only guy. And I got guys, this is my roster, guys. CJ Stroud, Jerome Ford, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, McBride at tight end, Jalen Waddle, and I got Javonte Williams, Xavier Worthy, and Chuba Hubbard on my bench, and that team is 0-3, ladies and gentlemen.
Your team
0-3.
name represents the record pretty well.
It
Mike
definitely
McDaniel
does.
Cooks.
Mike McDaniel cooks, and he clearly cooks shit. That's why I'm 0-3. That is why I'm 0-3. It symbolizes exactly what he's cooking.
My other league's team name is I Robbed the Dolphins, and the picture's a picture of Tua.
Oh man.
Yeah, that loss did hurt. That was a championship rematch, wasn't it?
that definitely was. Yo, and I lost by 5 points, bro. My matchup, it was Jamar Chase going against Jaden Daniels yesterday, and I lost by 5 points. But that's funny, man. My name, Mike McDaniel cooks. That's exactly what he's cooking. An 0-3 record, man. Oh man, Jacoby, any last words before we get on out of here, man?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, yeah, we had a fun fantasy segment, but feels like rock bottom right now for Dolphins fans. But it's still 3 weeks. If Miami wins this week, the narrative's going to be, oh, they only beat the Titans. Like you gotta just keep your head out of the media, see what happens. But I don't really have any hope right now. And like I said, I think they're in for another loss, but we'll see. Had a fun time in Seattle. Had a fun time talking it up with you guys, and hopefully our mood's a little shifted next week.
Yeah, definitely. Last comment here. Hindsight is we should have signed Justin Simmons over Poyer.
That cannot agree with that more. Justin Simmons was a free agent for too damn long. I don't know how you don't go out and get him.
Also, are you fine with trading Mostert for picks? I'm fine with what we have now.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely would trade Mostert for picks. I am absolutely fine with Achane and Jalen Wright, but the question is Mike McDaniel fine? Because he's not giving him the damn ball as much as he should, man. But yes, Justin Simmons was a free agent for way too long. Shout out to you, that Dolphin fan. Thanks for chiming in here. Dolphins will beat the Titans for sure. They suck. Nothing is for sure, Giannis. Nothing is for sure. But we will thank you guys once again for tuning in. As always, thank you guys for chiming in. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. Hit the thumbs up button to support the show. Subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. Catch us here weekly, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully the Dolphins win. We will see. And hopefully we'll touch base with you guys next week. Fins up, everyone.